Hey, interested in seeing somebody fire a Civil War musket? Stick around for this.
9 o'clock.
Hey, what's up? My name's Matt. Welcome to Gone Diggin'. We've got a little bit, something a little different for you today. We're gonna be shooting some Civil War era weapons, small rifles, carbines, muskets, 58 calibers, 69 caliber smooth bores, and Emerson from the North-South Skirmish Association's been cool enough to let us out and hang out with them. So let's get after it. All right.
The guy on the team gave me a whole.
So we're gonna just kind of talk about what we're gonna be shooting and calibers and how the progression kind of worked throughout the war. So the first one, that is a mostly original 69 caliber smoothbore musket, right?
Yeah, it's got a replacement barrel on it, but it's to the same specifications as what it was originally.
Right. So you're talking about, this is more of early war, like what, 1861, whatever they pulled out of the armories.
Yeah, probably most of them are militia units. They were issued. This is kind of what they had. And like I say, this was a conversion, which probably was a flintlock prior to that.
So, and maybe even an 1840s musket that they converted over to. And when we talk about a conversion, they put a change the hammer out, pull the flash pan off.
This is Springfield, 1827.
There you go.
That's probably when it was a it was flintlock.
Right.
They had an extremely heavy spring in it, mainspring.
Right.
It was, I've honestly worked it to get the trigger pulled down a little bit. It's the original mainspring in it, but this thing had like a 25-pound
pull. So, yeah. So everything is pre-measured, powder and the shot, whether it's a smooth bore. Also, there's a difference in the actual round, right? It's what's it called, a Lyman mold? Is that right?
Well, actually, there's several makers now. My mold came from a company called Moose Mold.
But it's a different mold, and you can definitely tell a lot of people will get fooled when they're out digging. They'll find one of these close to a reenactment site or.
Well, these you ain't gonna tell any difference.
Oh, these aren't gonna
actually shooting a round ball.
Right. So yeah.
I'm sure you're not gonna be able to tell any.
But more of the 2 and the 3-ring versions, right, you're gonna see the difference in them.
Right. Of course, they shot conical bullets in '69.
Right. Absolutely.
And
all right. So he's loading. So powder.
Usually want that in there first.
And then round ball. So these, in the Civil War period, would they have dropped up their paper in there?
They probably had a paper, and I assume they're using the preloaded paper and ball.
So they would have dumped their powder, then they maybe would have ripped.
Well, they might have been all together with the ball still.
They would have just rammed it all down.
The whole thing. Something like an oilcloth, I forget what it's called, oilskin paper type thing. Right.
The waterproof cartridge.
I'm not absolutely certain.
Right.
I'm sure there's variations of that. So I'm gonna shoot at that bottom paper target. 6 o'clock. Okay. Let's go and sight it in. You have to shoot at the very top of the target.
Okay.
Maybe a little left. We're restricted. We can't raise front sights on these guns. It's gotten so competitive they won't let us do it. So they shoot a little low because, well, you have to aim a little high with them.
Okay. So aim at the very top of the target.
Right. We can't.
So I got powder in.
Yeah, you got powder in. I figured you wanted 2 of them just in case.
So musket
ball in there.
Do not finger it. Matt's first smoothbore shot.
That it?
That's it. There you go.
So now,
except for the cap.
Percussion cap?
All the way back. That's half cock.
Full cock, half cock.
Full cock. There's the percussion cap.
We'll save the old one so they can see the.
Shoot whatever you want.
All right, so let's go top right target. All right. Okay, so now we've moved back to another 25 yards to 50 yards, which is 150 feet. And you can see the targets all the way up there. But now we're using the rifled muskets, the infield, and the we're gonna try the cavalry rifle, rifled muskets, and we're gonna see what we can do. So this has been a lot of fun. It's really neat to actually put your hands on some real life rifles and muskets that they would have used, and actually experience what the soldiers would have experienced. So let's see the bullets.
All right. Of course, what we do, this looked a little different. They used, if the bullet wouldn't have been turned upside down, it probably would have been encased in an oilskin pouch. The powder load would have been there, just like we have it here. Only I'm gonna discard this after I load it. They would just tear a hole in the bottom of it,
right,
and shove the whole thing. Then the ball would obviously have been like this.
Right, and so this is the different, the modern kind of.
This is a modern design mini ball,
right.
And the only thing we're doing is got a thicker grease ring, and we've lubed it. I've pre-sized it and things like that.
Right, all the stuff that they would have done in the factory when they made these bullets.
Right. But the lubricant is not much different than what they use. A lot of guys make their own. I buy this.
Right.
But it's basically, you know, at that time they used like animal fat and beeswax.
Okay, same kind of deal. Yeah. Cool.
And this has got beeswax in it.
So there we go. So now where are we going to shoot next? Let's talk about the next as we progress through, and then we're going to fire each one.
Yeah, I didn't bring a musketoon out, but anyway, here's a, all right, one's original, one's a reproduction. This
okay.
Is of an infield rifle. These were imported from England.
So, and
this is a what they call a sergeant's model 2-band. Most of them, a lot of them, you'll see a 3-band longer.
So that meant the bands would signify how short or how long the rifle musket was.
And in the British Army, they call them like a sergeant's weapon because, one, they moved the sight further forward than the 3-bands, which was easier for older eyes, and but you can say, you know, it's a bit lighter gun to carry.
And when you talk about older people, I mean older eyes, these guys would have been in their 30s.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, the sergeants would probably have been in the late 20s and 30s.
Right, and
but that's when your eyes start, you know, changing a little bit. And I'm not sure, but they shot these things pretty much long range, whatever. I mean, this was a predecessor to the Wentworth rifle and things like that. Some of these designs were in the infield. A lot of people complain about them because it's hard for us with longer necks to shoot them because they were designed. The British designed it, didn't have very much drop in the stock, and a lot of people will say they kick so hard because when we shoot like this, you know, we have to get down a cheek on it so bad. You know, people complain about it.
Right.
So what we do to combat that, I put taller front sights on it.
Okay.
And that gets my cheek off of it. And this one is, but being a reproduction, is not as straight as they call it.
Right.
This is the same configuration, same rifle, but this is original.
So that is an original infield.
This is all original.
So, and this is marked 1859 infield.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, this is all original, and I've shot this in competition. You know, I don't usually. This is my backup gun, believe it or not.
Right.
But it's still sighted in. You know, we're allowed to play with these guns a little bit and do some things. I weighted this gun, put lead in the stock and everything.
Made it adjustable. Well, I mean, and you wouldn't want to change this weapon, not compared to a reproduction.
I'm not for this gun like that. In fact, what I've done to even to raise the front sight, I soldered another sight on top of the sight, and because I could bring it back to pure original just by removing this little piece right here, it'd be back to exactly how it was when it was issued. Now, during the war, most of the people who shoot North-South Skirmish Association sighted their guns in for small targets. So we're like center holes or 6 o'clock holes where we're right on a small target. These guns were basically sighted in or built to shoot a body.
Right. So you're looking at an area of 12 or 14 or 18 by 18, right?
Right. They generally, what they was trained to shoot at was at the belt buckle.
Right.
And they would land somewhere mid-body.
Right.
So we had short sights, which means you shoot a little higher. So even when you move these adjustable sights, which this has a long-range sight on it, and I've moved it all the way down, it would generally still shoot like a foot high at 50 yards.
Right. Right. So a little different in actual day's time versus today,
right.
when we're shooting for competition and more of sport than actual purpose.
Pull this out with my mouth, or you can use your fingers if you don't want to put a lid in your mouth.
All right.
Pour it in there. Try to hold it away from your face just in case you get a cook-off.
In
Put the
there.
ball in. Send it home. A little more, a little more.
A little more?
You want it seated on that paddle good. That's good. All right? Sometimes this will feel I had for it. Full cock. There you go.
Full cock. Percussion cap. All right. So we're going to go for the bottom left clay. That is way harder to keep still on a target.
Yeah, you gotta, yeah.
I mean, it is like, I feel like I was like all over the place.
Yeah.
So, and I guess because it is so short.
Yeah, you have a different sight radius and not as long a gun.
But certainly not as heavy.
Not as
I
balanced.
understand, with twice the distance too.
Right, right, absolutely. So you can also understand why these guns were designed for a bigger area.
Right.
They weren't designed for shooting a 6-inch target at 50 yards.
But they're capable. They're certainly capable.
Absolutely. So that is awesome.
Play like we're loading the gun, but don't, stuff like that. That's when it'll shut.
Jerk that so much like a wagon wheel.
Smith carbine. Now this was developed, and there's a lot of these around. They didn't use them as much as other carbines during the Civil War, but they were used.
And this is original as well, right?
This is original.
So, and this, for folks who don't know, this was designed for cavalrymen.
Yeah, they had some artillery models too.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so again, shorter weapons. It's a breech loading weapon.
Breech loading weapon.
And it was designed for guys who either had artillery, who didn't have a lot of space, who needed to move around and be pretty free with it.
Right.
So it's pretty neat. Drop that. We'll close it back up. So to drop the breech on this is just a simple push up right here.
Right. Right. Just pop it open, put your cartridge in, and close it. Pull the hammer, put a nipple on it, put a
Percussion cap.
nipple, and it's ready to fire.
It's considerably faster than firing one of these.
There were two models of that, if you look on this side. Cavalry model had the ring on it.
Okay.
Artillery model did not.
Okay. Well, that's pretty
That
neat.
was for harnessing it to your
Some
horse.
of the artilleries did have a ring, but they would put it back in
back
on
in the
stock.
back end, right.
Back end.
So
Right. So,
put it on the hip.
well, cool. Enough talking. Let's shoot some muskets.
Hang fire.
Hang fire.
530 off the scoring ring.
On it.
All right, I'm going to do my best, but you can kind of see the rifling around the inside of the barrel. And that's what we talk about, a rifled musket versus a smoothbore. Smoothbore wouldn't have any of those little lines to twist the bullet as it went down the chamber, or down the barrel. So, there we go. So, I'm not like super great with these terms. I love the history and I love everything about doing this kind of stuff. And I'm super grateful for Emerson to invite us out today. So please don't butcher me in the comments. So soldiers in the Civil War, they had what were called nipple wrenches and would actually be able to pull the nipple that held the percussion cap off. And because Emerson was working on this one, he noticed that there is a blockage in the nipple. So he had to pull it off with a wrench.
I don't see it.
He'll have to clear it. Soldiers often carried extra nipples and spare parts with them, mainsprings or whatever you would have needed.
I know when you relic hunting, you found nipple wrenches before. Usually it's a small wrench with just an open end on it, and a screwdriver end on the other end.
So that they could have pulled the screws off or done whatever they needed to do to take care of it.
Let me check this thing again. Fun as shit. And they shoot well. It's just as accurate as can be, but
Percussion cap. This is also how 12 million percussion caps were used in the Civil War. That's a made-up statistic. All right, let's try the bottom one.
Got him! Ho hum.
there you go.
All right, that was easy.
Shoot another one. You keep it going as long as you hit.
Two more targets. Shoot the one Jerry was trying to hit earlier.
That one's gone.
I got a little paper on the back and I pull it off.
I was getting ready to ask you about that. They just keep the hole closed.
True test of a good marksman is during the Civil Wars if he could hit 2 Yankees in a row.
Oh my gosh.
With a Yankee gun.
Yeah, this is a federal gun.
Yeah. Go again.
I don't see it in the white.
It's in the black. Let me get the scope.
All right, so there we go. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. A little different. I'm going to give credit to Jerry because Jerry called Emerson and said, hey, let's go do some shooting. So me and Eddie got to go and shoot, and we had a great time at it. So we hope you enjoy this. It's not the normal Gone Digging episodes that we have, digging holes in the ground, but that's okay. But history and maybe a little bit of real life history.
And if anybody wants to maybe
so
get involved and shoot, they can join a team.
Yeah, so as always, the North-South Skirmish Association is interested in people who are interested in this kind of stuff. They have matches and meetups all over the place. I'll drop a link in the description for their website and all of that stuff. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, reach down and click that like button. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We do all kinds of history-based stuff here on Gone Diggin'. So thanks for watching. My name's Matt. We'll see you next time. People have wanted to see Jerry in episodes. Here he is.
There he is.
He's as pretty as the last time I saw him.
You have outtakes.
Oh, it's going to be all kinds of outtakes.
Burn them.
No.
I want to present Matt with this North-South Skirmish Association medal that Emerson just has laying around everywhere for shooting excellence.
And you know why I won that? Because I broke a clay and Jerry didn't.
That's right.